How are you guys doing? I wanted to let you know that I am alive and well. I survived the surgery. And this is video take two. The first one, it just stopped on me. And I apologize because I've been having some of the awfulest trouble with my camcorder, my webcam. I had to finally go and download some software from the website, and I'm hoping this will work. So anyway, Miss Whammy here, aka Lisa. Just wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on and where I am, and that I am alive and doing pretty good now that the worst part's over. This is my day 4 post-op gastric bypass. I wanted to let you know that I wanted to give you the numbers. January of 2011, my highest weight was 342. Highest weight ever was 342. Starting my pre-op, which was May the 11th, I was 321.8. My pre-op loss on my pre-op diet was 11.2 pounds. The day of surgery, I weighed 310 pounds, 0.6, and my total overall loss since January was 31.4. Now, I'm not going to give you any stats on where I am now. I will do that when I do an update, weekly update on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday. So I just wanted to kind of give you an overall of my surgery, and I know that all doctors are different and they're all going to require different tests, and insurance companies require different things. And because I work in human resource and I deal with the benefits a lot, I'm finding out more and more that you can have Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance and still, even in the same state, like Blue Cross Blue Shield of Georgia, Blue Cross Blue Shield of California, and yet your particular plan does not either allow for weight loss surgery, bariatric surgery, or they have different requirements that you have to meet prior to the surgery. So mine actually required that I have a BMI of 50 plus and 2 comorbidities to go along with it. There was no 6 months weigh-in, 3 months weigh-in. There was no weigh-in required. There was no, I did have to meet with a psychiatrist. I had to do the psych eval. And my doctor, my surgeon, actually required an echocardiogram, a sleep apnea test, which I did and found out I was I had severe sleep apnea. They said that I stopped breathing 45 times a minute. No, 45 times an hour when I was in REM sleep. Outside of REM sleep, I stopped breathing 55 times an hour. It's no wonder I was tired. No wonder I wasn't getting any sleep. So anyway, I had to have an upper GI. They required 2 nutrition classes, and of course the psych eval, I said that. And then I met with the surgeon as a group. There was a group of us that met. It was kind of funny, not funny, haha, funny, strange, but we met in the waiting room of the doctor's office, and there was like 8 or 9 of us that met. This was a pre-surgery where you go and talk to the doctor one-on-one, but to start out with, you start in the waiting room and the nutritionist comes out and gives you some paperwork that you'll need, the pre-op diet and that kind of thing. And this is after you get a surgery date. And then the surgeon comes out and talks to you about some different things, about different medicines you have to stop if you're on hormone replacement or contraceptives or whatever. You have to stop those a certain period of time prior to surgery. So, and then she met with us each individually back in the room. And she said she would let us know after she met with us whether we had to do a 2-week pre-op diet or a 3-week pre-op diet, which I thought was kind of strange, but I never did find out what the criteria for either one of them was. I just know that she had me stand up. She felt of my ribs at the very top, up under my breastbone, and felt around. She said, good, your stomach wall is good and thin. That's what I like to see. She said, you have to do the pre-op for 2 weeks. I guess that's the criteria, but I sure was glad that I didn't have to do it but for 2 weeks. But I would have done what I needed to do to get the job done. But it was tough. The pre-op diet is hard. And anyway, let's see. Then I had to go to the hospital 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I guess it was, prior to surgery, and do some pre-op testing. They did blood work. They also, one thing interesting was they do a test for, my doctor does a test for nicotine in your bloodstream, because she tells you have to quit smoking if you're a smoker. And so, and I don't know if she checks for drugs or whatever, but I know that she checks for nicotine because the nurse said, oh, she didn't order this, but I know she always requires this. And so I'm going to go ahead and draw the blood for it, and then I'll get them to do the order for it. But it was to check for nicotine. And I said, oh. She said, yes. She said, I've seen her cancel surgery in a heartbeat if she finds nicotine in your bloodstream, because that means you're not doing your part. It keeps everything from healing properly. So maybe that's why she's got such a good reputation of not having any problems, because she intends for you to do what she asks you to do. She's a sweetheart. She is a sweetheart. But anyway, then I had to get a chest x-ray and an EKG. And they told me the day of surgery, or the day before surgery, it was clear liquids. My pre-op diet was, I think I said in my previous video, but the day before surgery was just clear liquids. I had to be at the hospital at 6:30. I got there right at 6:30, checked into the outpatient area, and they took me back to a room. And I'm going to digress a little bit because I'm going to go to the night before. One of the things that I had to do prior to the surgery was I had to take a shower the night before and wash, my entire body with Dial soap. Well, with an antibacterial soap. And then I had to wait an hour, and then I had to take these rags that they had sent me home with. They were in packages, and there were 6 of them. And they gave me a diagram of a person's body, and they showed me where I was supposed to use what rags. All the rags were the same, but I could only use like one of the rags in my chest area, and another rag in my stomach abdomen area, and one my hip area, and one my back area. And then I took one and did my arm, both my arms with one rag, and then both my legs with one rag. And they were kind of like wet wipes. I know it was to fight like any bacteria on your skin and stuff. It was just kind of strange. I had never heard of that before. Before a cohort of mine, a coworker of mine had had major surgery back in December, and she had it at the same hospital, and she had to do the same thing. So I never heard of it. But anyway, the odd thing was, you scrubbed with it with these little rags. They were kind of like, they were thicker than wet wipes, but as it started drying, your skin was tacky, kind of like glue drying or something. It was tacky. The problem with that is that I have psoriasis, and it burned, and it itched real bad. But you do what you got to do. And so I just kept, I did it. Then when I got to the hospital the next morning and got to the outpatient, they took me to a room. They gave me another packet of those wipes and said I had to do it again. Well, what else do you do? So I did it again, and I itched and I burned. I mean, it lasts probably about an hour. Um, but I don't know, it's just strange. I had to get my husband to do my back. Of course, I could do everything else, but I had to get him to do my back. And you don't clean your personal areas because it will burn. And you don't shave your legs or underarms right before you do this, like within a couple hours of using these rags, because it will burn, because it opens those pores up. And, so shaving sometimes irritates the skin anyway. Couldn't use any lotion, nothing. So let's see. So I got in the room, and about 9 o'clock. I got there at 6:30, and I was told when I talked to the doctor's office when they gave me the surgery date that my surgery would be first. I was first on the list. Well, that wasn't so. There was, I think, three of us, at least three that I know of, scheduled for surgery that morning, and I was going to be number three. Excuse me. I was going to be number three, and they told me my surgery would not be until 1 o'clock. Well, you do what you can do. My family was upset, but I said, look, somebody has to be number three. Somebody has to go at 1 o'clock. Why not me? Somebody has to do it. Somebody has to be first. Somebody has to be last. So they said 1 o'clock. So I kind of kicked back in the bed and just watching TV. And that was about 9 o'clock when I found that out. About 9:30, they came knocking on my door and said, "We're here to take you to surgery." And I said, "Excuse me? Now?" And they said, "Yes, ma'am, now." And I said, "But I was told 1 o'clock." "Well, we're ready. We're ready for you." Okay. So I got myself together, and they rolled me to the holding room, where I think it was a student nurse or whatever, that was trying to do my IV. And my veins kept blowing. Now, I don't know if that was her or just me, but my veins kept blowing. So I have these pretty bruises on my hands uh, that are evidence of my blown veins. Plus, I have my other um, war injuries. But part of that is because they gave me heparin, I think, because they gave me heparin even in the holding room, and it made the bleeding worse. I bruise real easy anyway, and I can, get one of these bruises real easy just from drawing blood. So the fact that I got several of them and they were worse than they normally are, you know, didn't help. But anyway, and I've got, quite a bit of bruising on my abdomen because of the heparin and stuff. I know that it caused it to be worse.